Paying someone to set up your LLC for you, maybe you're spending $500 to $1,000 to get somebody to help you to do that. Well, I'm going to show you in this video exactly how you can do that completely for free without wasting your own money, and how you can make that LLC be in great shape for funding. My name is Majid. I'm the founder of Hungry Wolf Blueprint. My team and I have funded hundreds of business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs to secure between $100,000 and $250,000 of working capital at 0% interest. I've personally funded myself over $500,000 of 0% interest and low interest working capital. So if you're somebody that is interested in learning more about how to most effectively fund yourself and your business, you've definitely come to the right place. With that said, let's get ourselves kicked off here. I'm going to show you exactly how to structure your LLC. We're going to use a website called busy.com. And I'm also going to show you how to get your EIN number. So let's get started. Okay, so the website that we're going to be using to register our business is busy.com. Used to be called Inkfile. And this is the exact website that my team and I use to set up businesses for our clients if they don't already have one. It's going to be much more straightforward and simple than if you tried to do it on the Secretary of State. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to choose the type of business. So we'll just say we're registering LLC, and then we're going to choose our state. So let's say we're going for the state of New Jersey, and then we're just going to say start my business. Now, once we've done that, we have a few different options of packages. So you just need the basic package, so you avoid any fees. And then you can pay this just extra $50 expedited filing fee so that you can get the documents in one business day instead of 3 weeks. But that's optional. If you're not in a rush, you don't have to choose this, and you don't need any of these. You don't need business contract templates. You don't need them to get the EIN for you. I'm going to show you how we can do that pretty easily ourselves. And you also don't need the operating agreement. That's not something that you need to get here. So here we're just choosing the basic package. And then with this method, we're just paying the state filing fee, which is $130. So now we're going to say get started. Now we're going to choose the LLC name. So let's say we're going to call the business GH Solutions LLC. Business purpose, let's say we are doing marketing, consulting services, and then we're going to say next. So now, yeah, like I said, we have these options, right? We can choose the faster filing time, or we can just go with the 3 weeks. For now, let's say we're not in a rush. We can wait 3 weeks, so we'll just choose that. We're going to hit next. Here's where we're going to put our name. So let's say my name is Mark Jones. I'm registering my business. My email, mark54@gmail.com. And then my phone number. And then we will go ahead here and hit next. So now from here you have two options. You can choose a virtual address or own address. I always recommend choosing your own address because virtual addresses are not favored by banks. They don't like those, especially if you're planning to go for some funding. They prefer a physical address. So we can just continue from here, and then the address here, you can, if you have a business address, you'd want to choose the physical address of your business, but you can also just choose your home address. So let's say from here, if we're taking this address from New Jersey, is going to be our registered address. And then we're going to say it's in the state of New Jersey, and the city is going to be Sticklerville, New Jersey, and then 08081. Okay, so now we can hit next. and it's going to suggest the exact address for me. I'll just say use suggested. And then from here, so now they're going to try to, start upselling you some different stuff. So you actually don't need any of this. So just say no thanks. You don't need an EIN, banking resolution, operating agreement, or a contract library. We're just going to say no thanks here. And then you're going to choose the number of members. So if you're just the only member of the business, we're just going to choose one here if you don't have a business partner. And then this is what you would choose if it was actually a company that you were registering it with. But that is, you're going to be the owner of the business. It's not going to be held under a company. So we're going to say Mark Jones. We're going to choose the address. We're going to say next. And then this is where they give you the option to choose a registered agent or not. I recommend acting as your own registered agent. It just simplifies the process for later if you are going to go for funding where you don't have, multiple names on your articles and multiple addresses, which can, lead them to ask more verification questions, etc. So we're going to hit next here. And then here they're asking you if they want, you want their help for them to get you an EIN. You don't need that. I'm going to show you how we can get the EIN in a future video as well here. I'm going to show you how we can get the EIN for free. It's not too complicated. And then we just hit next. Okay, and then here they're asking if you want to get Bank of America products. We don't need that. Electronic delivery or delivery by mail. I recommend always choosing electronic delivery. It does tend to be faster, and then you don't have to wait. And also mail would cost you some extra. And then tax-free consultations, another upsell. You don't need this. Of course, you have the option of going for it. It's for free, but they're going to try to sell you on some tax services. And then no thanks again. And that's pretty much it. This is our order summary now. So we have the details of our LLC. We have our name, our address, the business address, the company name, the type of business it's in. And then we're going to hit next here. And then at this point, we're just putting in our credit card details, and we're done. So if I hit complete and pay here, it's going to ask me for my credit card details there. So that's how we go ahead and set up the business. And then after, either a few days, once it's done, if you did choose the expedited filing, or after some weeks, if it took some time, you can go here to the IRS website, irs.gov, and this is how we're going to get our EIN number. So now we hit apply for an employer ID number, and then we're going to say apply for an EIN. Begin application now. So this is where we're going to choose the type of business we have, how many members, 1, the state where the business is located. We set it up in New Jersey. Single member, started a new business. They're just asking you for the purpose why you're requesting an EIN. Then this is where you'll start, putting in your social security number info. Okay, so I added some details here so that we can continue through the process. So I put my name, last name, my social, and then we're going to hit continue. So now from here, it's going to start asking me a little bit more about the business itself. So we're going to use the same address. So this is the address of the business. So let's say we're choosing this address that was in New Jersey again. So we're going to go and say 8 Leon's Court, the city, Sickersville. In the state of New Jersey over here. State of New Jersey. Zip code was 08081. Okay, so we filled out our phone number there. Do you have an address different from the above where you want your mail to be sent? So this depends if you're using, an actual business address, or if you're using your home address. And let's say you want the documents to come to your home. So you would choose yes, but in this case, we're going to choose no, and we will continue here. So this is where you'll just tell them a little bit more about the company itself. So the legal name of the business. So let's say in our case, it was GH Solutions LLC. And then, this is like if you have a DBA, let's say you're operating as Success Marketing Services. Maybe that's your DBA, so you would put that there. And then the county where it's located, so that's going to be the Sicklersville County in this case. And then the state, so we're going to choose the state of New Jersey because the business is registered in New Jersey. State where the articles will be filed is also going to be New Jersey, because you're located and you're filing in the same state. Single member start date, so we're just gonna, depending on when you get your documents, but let's say it's now December, so then go and we'll choose the year as well. And then this is where they're asking you a little bit more about the business. If you have a heavy vehicle, any gambling, these are all considered high risk industries. So, manufacture alcohol, tobacco, firearms, any employees that are going to receive W-2. So if you're first starting your business, you can just say no here. And then we're going to hit continue. So now they're asking more about the nature of the business itself. So if you are in the consulting industry, you could just choose other, and then you say consulting. You provide operating advice or an assistance to businesses and other organizations. You can say yes if you do. And then here we'll say marketing because we are a marketing consulting in this case. And then we're going to say continue. And now we're at the end of the process. So we can just say here, I recommend choosing to receive the letter digitally, because then you don't have to wait for 4 weeks for the delivery of the EIN letter. So we'll just choose that. And then here we can review all the details of the business, the DBA, the addresses, the state registry, the name, the details of the social. You can just review everything here, and then you just hit submit EIN request. And yeah, and then you're pretty much done. So that was how we set up our LLC and get the EIN completely for free. And I hope this walkthrough was helpful for you, so that you could do this without necessarily paying anyone, and you can get your LLC, your EIN set up. And if you want to go for funding in the future, of course, you can do that. Now, here, my team and I, what we do is we help our clients to secure high amounts of funding between 100 and 150K. So if you would like to work with us, completely done for you, just click on the link in the bio, book a call with us, learn more about what we do, and we'd be glad to help you. Thank you. If you want to like, comment, subscribe if you got some value from this content, and I'll catch you in the next one.